You'll agree with me that there are various criminal organizations all across the world, let alone in Mexico. One of the criminal organizations which we're going to be talking about today is the Caborca Cartel, in Spanish referred to as the Cártel de Caborca. A senior drug lord named Rafael Caro Quintero, who is also the creator of the now-defunct Guadalajara Cartel. He commands this criminal organization in Mexico. It focuses its drug trafficking operations in the municipality of Caborca, which is located on the border with the United States. I can't stress enough how important it is for you to stick around to the end of this video as we look into the Caborca Cartel and discuss how notorious this organization's been. The news outlet Milenio asserts that Quintero allegedly organized a meeting in 2017 with his relatives and subordinates in order to organize the retaking of Sonora, which is when the Caborca Cartel began to take shape. However, it is possible that the veteran drug boss is nothing more than a figurehead that provides the organization its influence. Two journalists in the area who covered drug trafficking and asked to remain anonymous for reasons of safety told Insight Crime that Quintero's relatives have a history of being involved in various criminal economies in Sonora, but that Quintero himself isn't necessarily involved in day-to-day operations. The journalists are based in the region and cover stories related to drug trafficking. Two of Quintero's nephews, Rodrigo Paez Quintero and Jose Gil Caro Quintero, appears to be key commanders here. Information gathered by intelligence agencies suggests that the members of this gang are the Kingpin's family. Rafael Caro Quintero, a veteran trafficker who's been included on the U.S. Drug Enforcement Administration, or the DEA's, most wanted list for a long time due to his alleged involvement in the kidnapping and murder of DEA agent Enrique Camarena, has been repeatedly blamed for the explosion of violence in Sonora. This accusation has been made on multiple occasions. Since his release from a Mexican prison in 2013, Quintero has been living in hiding. However, narco banners, media stories, and claims made by police allege that he has emerged as the head of a new gang, the Caborca Cartel, to regain control of Sonora. According to the news site El Sol de Hermosillo, as of the year 2019, Sonora had more than 1,765 homicides, which represents a 20% increase in the state's homicide rate. In comparison to the year 2020, the number of homicides committed in municipalities like Cajeme and Empalme increased by more than 40%. The state that straddles the United States and Mexico's border also has been troubled by cases of enforced disappearances. The leader of a search group that is attempting to find loved ones who have gone missing has even made a public appeal to cartel bosses to reduce the amount of violence that's directed towards civilians. Cici Patricia Flores Armenta, who is the head of Madres Buscadoras de Sonora, was quoted as saying, "I find myself with the need to ask you, the heads of the cartels in Sonora, Jose Crispin, Salazar, Rafael Caro Quintero, and the rest of you cartel leaders to not kill us, to not disappear us." Through the use of narcomanta, the Caborca Cartel made its presence known in the year 2020. The message said, "We are informing the people of the Costa. We are the people of Caro Quintero. This square belonged to us, and now all of those producers, merchants, and miners in the region will have to pay for the square. Here we are to clean up. We are the sweeper 24/7. The R. Rodrigo Paez and Cara de Cochi, and all together, we are the Caborca Cartel." Unfortunately, this year there was a tragic attack in Caborca, Sonora, which took place over the course of many hours and resulted in the death of 2 people and the kidnapping of 5 more. It was said that hitmen who reported to Los Tepitos held the town of Caborca prisoner for a period of 24 hours in the month of February. It was invaded by around 20 pickup trucks full of armed men with the intention of intimidating rival cartels that were conducting business in the area. The pickup trucks were customized with improvised armor and mounted assault rifles, and they were used in military operations. They were observed to have a distinct X mark on their vehicles, while their men, who were fully armed and dressed in tactical gear, were seen filling up the vehicles with gas, while filming themselves getting pumped up about their artillery. The armed men besieged the town and searched through residents' homes to find any known enemies. They kidnapped several persons and murdered 2 men, whose bodies were dumped in the street after the murders. Residents reported that, despite the incident, officials didn't come to their aid. despite the fact that they were aware of the attack. According to the reports, Los Chapitos intended to take control of the drug routes in Caborca, which is situated only a few kilometers from the border with the United States. The killings and kidnappings that took place in Caborca, Sonora, were by no means an isolated incident. The area has been ravaged by cartel violence over the past few years. The video of the incident, which included the sounds of loud gunshots in the background, swiftly went over to social media. Another shaky security footage shows what seems to be a makeshift tank leading a convoy of vehicles through the city. The vehicles include trucks, jeeps, and what appears to be a constructed tank. The third video, which was filmed at a gas station and appears to have been taken by armed members of the cartel themselves, shows the automobiles being marked with white X's, while the owners are clutching big firearms. Authorities made the announcement the day following the incident that they had successfully repulsed the cartel caravan. Nevertheless, amid the fighting, 2 individuals had been killed and several more had been kidnapped. Despite this, the deceased have not been identified. The state of Sonora, where the incident took place, has been racked by violence over the past decade due to the disintegration of drug gangs in the surrounding area. It's believed that several groups are active in the state, including factions of the Sinaloa Cartel, remnants of the Juarez Cartel, and both smaller gangs who work independently or are affiliated with other larger groups. Another powerful organization in this part of Mexico is the Caborca Cartel, which is headed by Rafael Caro Quintero. There have been accounts that contradict one another regarding the identities of the individuals that were armed. In one of the videos, they can be heard yelling the name Los Pelones. The Mexican media have, over the course of the last few years, established a connection between Los Pelones and Caro Quintero. Los Pelones originated as a breakaway faction of the Sinaloa Cartel. Another video shows them shouting that the Chapiza had arrived, which a renowned newspaper called El País interpreted to suggest that the group works for Los Chapitos, which is a faction of the Sinaloa Cartel run by the sons of the imprisoned drug lord Joaquin El Chapo Guzman. So the perpetrator of the incident hasn't yet been identified by the authorities. This ordeal has left Caborca with emotional scars that aren't yet fully healed. Schools have been ordered to close, and Mayor Abraham David Mier Nogales has suggested that businesses adhere to an unofficial closing time of 10 p.m. He admitted that, "I recognize that the events experienced exceeded the levels of response of the police, and we weren't able to prevent these unfortunate events." An outraged local resident retorted, "It's as if they were giving the hitman a chance, a vacation, while they pretended to be in control." According to the statements made by the mayor, "We are disturbed by the violent events that we, Caborquenses, experienced this Wednesday morning, where, unfortunately, there were human losses and missing youth. We know that among these, there are good people who have nothing to do with organized crime. We call on their captors to have mercy and to return these young people alive." In the hours that followed, the police made every effort to locate those who had been kidnapped. One of the missing was the 23-year-old son of a local journalist named Sebastian Manriquez. On Thursday, the authorities in Sonora made the announcement that 3 of the 5 people who had been kidnapped had been recovered safe. One of them was Sebastian Manriquez Jr. Since the violence began, they had also apprehended 3 males who were in possession of firearms and vehicles that had been stolen. The chief of security for the state of Sonora, Maria del Rio Sanchez, made the announcement that the Mexican army had sent in reinforcements consisting of 200 soldiers to work alongside state authorities and the National Guard in northern Sonora. Despite this, the Caborca Cartel continues to operate in the northwestern section of the state of Sonora, specifically in the municipalities of Caborca and Magdalena de Quino. During the first several years of President Andrés Manuel López Obrador's administration, the criminal gang that Andrés Manuel López Obrador is prosecuting is said to have become more organized, as reported by Lantia Intelligence, a company that specializes in risk assessment in Mexico. This involves employing local gangs like Barredora and La Plaza as the organization's armed wings through the practice of subcontracting. The Sinaloa Cartel, and more specifically the sons of the incarcerated Chief Joaquin El Chapo Guzman, appears to be the most significant threat to this organization. The group of sons is collectively referred to as the Chapitos. The two different cartels both compete for control of illegal activity. In addition, the Port of Guaymas in the state of Sonora gives access to the Pacific Ocean, which makes it possible for precursor chemicals that are used in the synthesis of methamphetamines and fentanyl to enter the country. The enormous gold mines located within the state offer further potential for illegal profiteering. In order to bolster its forces in the ongoing conflict with the Guzman family, the Caborca Cartel has allied itself with El NEA. This brings today's video content to an end. We are grateful that you've continued to support us. Be sure to subscribe to the channel. Click that notification bell so you don't miss out on any more incredible videos that we pump out for you. Keep an eye out for the next one.